as well as Crime as they wait for any cue or any sound cue for them to go for the push. There goes the Cryo Mine. He has been spotted. He has been taken down, but I think Crime pulling out the LMG will be able to make this hit, but Rin right now, rinse and repeat, he will be taken down.
Demons with a quick revival here for the Onyx side. And Shadow looking for that finisher. Shinzi already tagged. Has the Mag 7. Sicily trying to close down the space here. And Barros helping out Onyx. With that knock, Onyx Demons taking advantage but could not overwhelm Rin, who just walked on in there. With the SMG and Onyx, the rest of the players just have to figure out exactly how to survive down to the final circle if this is going to be the way they take those engagements.
Definitely, you need to think outside the box, into the box, whatever they have to do, as long as they can survive. But ACD right now, hopefully they're not just dreaming, because they managed to take down one of the players, but LBT, the moment that he get picked up, goes for the Valiant Dash, but good enough, Leaf was sharp on that M590 and managed to go for a takedown. Now, that's one more remaining, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm counting it right, for this team of PE Sports, but he is nowhere to be found. And here comes Faiz right now. I guess he got a little whiff of where he is, but the run is quite long, and the crossover has been done already, so ACD will be left dumbfounded as to where the final player is.
And good ninja skills coming on through here.
See, I have to pull up the UAV though.
It's like, where the hell is this guy? Had to go with the UAV play. Still can't find him. Used up the binoculars already. Just got to figure out a better way. Onyx, on the other hand, again with the rematch up against Shadow. Both squads have recovered. It's a 4v4. Easy fight. One pulling out the power file. Ice grenade. It's just going to go wide. One not tickled by that at all. Shinzi helps him out. A little long with that ice grenade and doesn't give him any advantage at all.
Yeah, no advantage at all, and probably it's just the angle, but let's see if they'll be able to recover right here. Onyx Olympus, though, they still have 3 players, but the way Shadow is moving in from the shadow into the light right now might eat up Onyx Olympus, but one has been knocked down. The pickup has been done, but Demons already smell blood and now rushing in with a Drogon, but unfortunately gets hit by Rin. Onyx Olympus, though, is trying to make work of Shadow as they try it as a third-party engagement, but they couldn't stick to it, especially with Crime far away from the rest of the gang. That is trouble area against Shadow Esports at the moment.
And after a very early encounter, the team of Avida XKDC has exited the lobby in the 11th spot. That was way too early after just taking a single elimination, leaving a little bit of space here for AG Global now to catch up with them on that #1 spot. AG Global doesn't need to do much. Surviving under the final circle is going to be more than enough. But of course, do they want to keep on to that #1 spot? Then they got to hustle, pick up some points here. RRQ fighting some decent ones with those eliminations. Onyx versus Shadow Esports is... So, I mean, you see where I'm coming from, right? Onyx is just looking a little bit scattered right now in terms of their thought process now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really worried on how well they can move forward. I know they were previously champions, but there's a lot of speculation that's going in there because of how this team has been playing from the earlier parts of that tournament towards the end. But this shows that Onyx Olympus still doesn't have a fixed view of their strategies, and this is playing it as it is. Now, Zyro right now, let's see if he'll be able to spot out the opponent that is quite next to him, giving opportunity for Adam, but Adam has bird's eye view against Rin, but with time before they go for the engagement, this might be what Shadow is taking advantage of. There goes a knockdown from both sides. The pickup can be done by Zyro, and no one from Shadow is stepping in.
Onyx may not look like anything right now, but let me remind all of you guys that they were the champions of FFWS Spring 2025, all right? Exactly 1 year ago. This is where they became champions. So I'm not going to count them out just yet because usually Onyx, I mean, they're not the most powerful team to come out of Indonesia, but they do enough to squeeze themselves into the finals. And all they need to do is just figure out exactly how to get the 80 points, you know, and then the booyah.
Yeah.
And they did it last year, all right? So just can't be counted out just yet.
Well, let's see, though. Shadow, though, despite of the great showing that they have against Onyx Olympus, they have been taken out by AG Global for elimination. Make that 5 elimination already for AG. So definitely they will be taking the top against Avida XKDC that got eliminated early, but they're hanging outside the blue and shot by Cypher against Crime out in the open. And this is trouble for Onyx Olympus. They need to move away. Vehicle being used, but Adam might be spotted by Do. Shots not making it, but Do says no.
Oh, no, don't stop to save him. Zyro's out of there. Oh, but Do, the follow-up with the AWM. This is so the meta for the snipers, and Do is loving it. Nameless with the M590 puts the final nail on the coffin for the Shadow Esports players. Takes them out in 10.
Oh, it's Rubble Zone. Now let's see PE Sports against Rian. Rian went down the drain, and PE Sports took advantage for elimination already for the team. But earlier, I mean, I wasn't expecting that shot coming from, well, it's somewhat expected, but with the vehicle, you couldn't land it quite easily. But what else can Do not do in those situations? As they head... Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, he pre-aimed and he shot the first guy out of the vehicle. And then he continued to chase the second guy, who I thought had gotten away already, but he just knows the positioning on his map. I mean, his map awareness is just a different level altogether, again with the pre-aim, and got the second guy down as well. I mean, Do is a monster, man. You just gotta love watching him play.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm loving it, especially after he made a showing on the Clash Squad finals, grand finals. And this is what I'm saying on the chat, right? He should have a graffiti out there on that specific spot in Zipway, just to honor the guy of how well a sniper and a player he is. But, well, let's see, though, if that would happen, because we've seen, like, them rise already, and slowly they're rising to this day because they're taking that #1 spot away from Avida.
Now, Du's not a... Du didn't just pop up yesterday, right? He has been hustling for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely has been carrying AG Global for the longest of time now. I mean, Du is AG Global at this point. Falcons, on the other hand, one of the biggest rivals of AG Global, has taken a very slow approach to the circle this time round. It's a surprising approach from Falcons, I would say, Neptune.
Yeah, well, surprising that they're not that aggressive, especially with their prestige. We know that they have it in them, but I guess this is one thing that we've seen so many times, not only from Falcons, but also in Buriram, being silent in the beginning, and then towards the end, once you find the final circle, you get, or you take advantage of all the chaos. But chaos might be ensuing in a bit. The next phase will be coming down in 25 seconds. PE Sports spotted Maal! A little bit late on the trigger, though, with that ridge already covering PE Sports, but hopefully their position was not revealed. Otherwise, they might be ganged up by Team Flash, who's just next door.
Yeah, and PE Sports cannot afford to get taken down early again. They're going in for the Hansai rule. Cannot get away. LBT with the car 98 sorts him out, and they're going for the long flank around the circle. And most probably looking for the weapons arsenal as well. Not upgraded, or has that been upgraded? As they need to hit it right now for just a little bit extra prep before the next big battle for themselves.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, speaking of preparation, a lot of teams are already making a good job on reviving their teammates. The only problem, though, is where to drop. A lot of real estate already being taken in this specific area of the map. It's a good thing it doesn't end up on the water. Otherwise, it would be chaotic once again in that final circle. But RRQ, 8 elimination already. We didn't see most of them, but we've seen that on the elimination feed. So let's see if they can just carry this over, wait it out until the next phase, and then head into where they need to be to take a position on high ground where they're best at.
Yeah, Ranze, the newest player on the side of RRQ, doing fine at this point of time. 2 eliminations already on his side. Team Flash, on the other hand, looking for the recovery play. And they'll definitely need to hustle just a little bit here. It's a fairly new squad apart from ABCD and the God, who brings in the veteran presence on the side of Flash. But the team has just been up and down, Neptune. I wonder if they've figured out their chemistry here, because they are not showing capabilities to dominate just yet.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is with the Flash. It fizzles out after a few seconds, unless it's the fire.
It's just like a flash. It's just like poof and then gone.
Yeah, unless the fire where it can grow. So let's see if that's something that they can start off a fire out of a flash. But Team Falcons right now, very silent indeed. But I'm pretty sure with all that walking around, looking away, they got a picture of where everyone is. They're getting into next phase of the circle. Shots onto them. Glue wall stacked perfectly just to save them. Peanutto doesn't heal up just yet. Not quite sure if he was left out. I'm not seeing the full four. But here comes Team Flash. Position-wise, they're doing quite well. But will they be able to get elimination as much as possible this time around?
Oh, they're going in here for the hunt onto RRQ. If Flash pulls this off, they might just be the consistent squad I'm looking for. And they might be rebranded to Light. Because, you know, Flash constantly equals Light.
Flashlight.
No. 5 eliminations for Flash so far. And the deep in the next zone. Magna just beside them. This is going to be pretty worrisome of a position to hold on to, because real estate is going to be scarce when the next bunch of squads look for this safe zone as the circle starts to squeeze them all in. And Flash might just have some unwanted visitors visiting them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're dead smack in the center of that next phase. But what worries me, Max, in esports, because there's still a lot of compound right next to them, as we look in AG Global trying to take one of those. And Do on the roof, shot on the crime, almost a takedown. Just managed to move before a headshot happened. Speaking of headshot, Do is doing it once again, not knowing where it's coming from, but the signal has been triggered, and the rest of AG is going for the push, but unfortunately Do has been taken down, but the battle is not yet over for AG.
And Onyx getting wiped out one after the other. RRQ just whipping out the M79, grenade launcher, finding player after player, and now they're turning their attention over to AG as well. Here comes Runzay. Dudes walks in with the M79. Those grenades looking for the player, and the God nade, thanks to the grenade launcher from Dudes, obliterates them. 12 eliminations strong. RRQ looking solid right now in and prepared for the next circle. Just a vending machine beside them as well. They have to be careful, because that's going to be Dragon and Twisted Mind.
Let's see if they can drag in this fight. But Dudes, God Nade coming from the God Nader. I'm really loving that. But as we look into PE Sports trying to go against ACD, they're losing a lot of the players. Nero takes cover, but ACD is outside of blue, also outside the lightning zone. And the Min is doing his best to survive and revive his teammates. But unfortunately, it's shots from afar from the Flying Falcons, who's trying to take Sword in this fight.
Yeah, very specifically a Flying Limit who's just unlimited with the flare when it comes to those plays. My goodness, PE Sports just stood no chance up against him. Magna having a decent spot for themselves. Twisted Minds with the FGL shot, forcing them away from the window. And now, both Falcons and Twisted Minds hunting down the Flash players, but Twisted Minds soaking up a majority of the points. And RRQ stole one elimination away from Falcons as well. Falcons got nothing from that.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons was left out in there, and Team Flash was out like a flash. Now, let's see if Falcons can take advantage of the position. But surprisingly, they're the ones who's taking over that area where Flash has been wiped out. But let's see if the shift of circle can be favorable for them. Magna Esports, great that they're surviving this quite well in this engagement. Not being taken down, not being rushed. But for how long? Because Twisted Mind RRQ is in great position right now to work with the shift up the circle. Probably take advantage of their high ground to gun down either Falcons or Twisted Mind, who's running just behind them.
Yeah, Twisted Minds now looking for the approach onto RRQ. This could be a great plan or a terrible one, because RRQ's Dudes Might still have some grenades left on that grenade launcher for the attack. Ma'al turning around with the AWM and VSK back-to-back, getting those knocks.
Oh,
but
no.
Magna barricading themselves with those glue walls, picking up their players. Twisted Minds now starting to flank around RRQ. They don't want to fight. They don't want that smoke.
Yeah, they don't want to smoke. They want to shift with the circle. And Magna Esports would be the ones being delayed and taken advantage of by Team Falcons. All utilities being thrown at them, especially those that damaged the knockdown. Only Verus remains. Will he be able to defend or probably survive even longer as the rest of the teams is getting close? But I don't think that would work. The moment he steps out of that window, he will be gunned down, not only by Pina and on fire, but also from the other side. But here has no choice. And there goes the shot from Pina.
And finally, the battle between Twisted Minds. Oh, Riptide Rhythm out of nowhere! And Dudes could not get away from that heat. Abey now going in for the chase with the M590. Will catch up. One more shot needed, and Abey delivers. But now he needs to get away. Jumps right in. And now the interference from Falcons as well. The Riptide Rhythm wiping out Twisted Minds instantaneously. And now Falcons looking for RRQ. A smart retreat from RRQ here. Puts a little bit of space between themselves and the Falcon players.
Now let's see how silent Falcons was earlier. They are making noise right now. Ranse has been taken out. Abey goes in for a fire against Pina. It's a 2v2 situation. Ma'al right now up close and personal. That's not his forte, but I think the blue would save him. But it's a 1v3 situation, and Abey might be saying bye-bye as Falcons would run them over. And there you have it. Guerrero, Abey, will he be able to go for the clutch? This might be the time.
Beautifully done. Riptide Rhythm breaking down all of the defenses, and Limit X7 with the Skylar gets the clutch. And the Riptide Rhythm, the final blow. And in fact, that was not the first time. Earlier on, the Riptide Rhythm was the main reason why RRQ went scrambling. The Riptide Rhythm was definitely the reason why Twisted Minds got obliterated instantly the moment Falcons showed up. And Limit definitely showing that this meta is his to dominate.
Yeah, it's a meta that is not being used by a lot of players. It's a specific Limit meta. And that is why he is considered one of the best snipers, because he knows how to use not only the snipe, not only the weapon, but also the skills that is used by snipers for up-close battle. And that pinch, that final blow, really is something that Abey was not expecting.
I mean, nobody was expecting that, right? Because first of all, Skylar is not really the first choice of a lot of the snipers.
Yeah.
We have been seeing many of the snipers try to go for remorse, maybe thinking that they can reposition well out there on the battlefield, but it's just not working out the way many of the snipers are feeling. Not saying that the Moss is out of the selection. The Skylar just isn't that number one pick. Until Limit now is setting up a fantastic case as to why that Riptide Rhythm should be in your number one choice sometimes if you're a prime sniper like him, because that was a brilliant clutch. Because Abey almost 1v3 the whole squad and embarrassed Falcons right there.
Yeah, I mean, if he has a little bit more of glue walls, he might be able to survive that, because yes, the Riptide Rhythm has been pulled out. It only breaks down a few. He still have one, but it's in an off angle. But it's just a pressure. Probably he doesn't have the glue wall. He might have it, but it's also the zone closing in, and Limit is already on point, especially as he kept distance. So I'm really looking forward to this side of Falcons and RRQ, and we're seeing greatness out of these top dogs. And it's been a while, though, that we've seen this kind of fight from RRQ. Falcons, yes, slow from the beginning, hot on the start. We often see that, but not from RRQ.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, right? I think RRQ, we need to see them ramp it up a little bit here, because yesterday it wasn't a great day for RRQ. They had a rough start. They were giving their average like around 12 points within a game, and that's not bad, but it's just not the usual version of RRQ that we see out there ravaging the other squads for points. So I think in this game they performed so much better than their performance yesterday, so that's a good thing. Even in the earlier match, it wasn't their best performance, only 10 points in total, Neptune. But what Falcons were able to do in that final bout, was it enough to overtake RRQ and their performance? Because RRQ farmed a lot of eliminations this time around, all thanks to Dudes and the M79.
Yeah, I mean, it's the number of matches, but in terms of the averages, I think Team Falcons has done a lot already to overtake RRQ. Because Team Falcons, they were just introduced today, and they're already making a huge run match after match. Earlier, again, similar to what we've seen earlier, in that specific map of Purgatory, they just are not engaged. They're not that active enough. But you can see in the position as well as the view, the POV that we're seeing, they're taking notes of where the opponents are, crossing the river, getting in position, and they know exactly where to drop if in case they use that launch pad. And that is something we don't see every day from the other teams right here in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, and speaking of Southeast Asia, it seems like Southeast Asia is filled with veteran survivors who know how to get to that final circle. It's not easy, man, because, you know, battles up against squads of this level, you are going to get wiped. That shows the efficiency, that shows the clarity in terms of map awareness from all of these squads on how to navigate themselves towards that final circle. 2 games in a row now, we've had way more numbers that we can manage for that final zone. It's just erupting into chaos. Of course, earlier it was just beyond chaos, beyond pandemonium. Now a little bit more manageable, but still, these final circles are stacked, Nep.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to more of that with how these teams are adapting. But let's take a peek of the skills coming from Team Falcons. We keep talking about that Skylar. It was being used by Eliminix 7, but they also have On Fire on the Time Turner as well as a Valiant Dash by Pina. So great frontliners indeed. And then Karoro in there with that Cryo Mine. So if in case they need a little bit of backup, they can throw that Cryo Mine and join the fray or help out Eliminix 7 on the back end of that fight before they, like, with just a long range engagement. So I'm really loving this combination out of the active skill.
And because of the fact that the A124 is back in action, the Joseph cannot be dropped by the rushes. You see On Fire and Pina being forced to bring the Joseph in there. And you also notice the fact that they don't run an Olivia. They're just depending on the Tiva. So pickups are going to be quick from the side of Falcons, but the recovery play is not going to be as fast. But this is where Falcons are not really feeling the pressure because they're good on their feet until they get caught out. So it's a very risky play in my opinion, Neptune. They are opting for the Nikita over the Olivia. They want those faster reloads, especially On Fire and Pina. They want to get those eliminations, but it's just not clocking out for them. This was not the biggest game for Falcons so far.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of numbers, definitely not the biggest game. But I do agree why they're working with the reload with that Nikita. It's because in most instances, they hit the shot, but if in case you don't get a headshot, like you will be a little bit short in terms of getting that elimination. And we've seen how well they played. And with the numbers, it's a great balance of 12 and 12 out of elimination and placement. RQ, Kazu, though, taking the lead right now because of elimination 17 that they got out of that map.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, this is a brilliant statistic here for RRQ Kazu to pull off because this was nothing like what they played yesterday. So RRQ is definitely back in it to win it. Twisted Minds getting far into the circle as well. Just a total of 14 points for themselves. But looking at the overall standing for the day, RRQ is still playing catch up. Like you said, they have not been able to do enough to overtake Falcons just yet because Falcons are still keeping up. And of course, the Booyah giving them exactly what was needed to keep them ahead in terms of tiebreaker or the extra 3 points that the Booyah does give you. So RRQ not too far. AG Global, though, in that #1 spot, and you gotta love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving as well that they're Thailand is maintaining their top spot. RQ squeeze themselves in there number 3. So I'm really looking forward to how well RQ can overtake not only Team Falcons but also get ahead AG Global, because especially in the next map wherein Kalahari is involved and that's where their strength is. But before we go there, let's head over to the overall standings. Taking the lead, still AG Global and Navita. RQ again doing the great lengths of trying to catch up, taking to the 3rd spot. But well, I guess with GOW, who will not be playing for today, and even BTR, WAG, Heavy, they will be pushed down leaderboard by the end of this day.
Yeah, definitely. I think Flash is going to be climbing over them as well. And just obviously nothing that Gao or Bigatron can do about it alongside the other squads because they're just not playing. But if you take a look at the consistency of climb, I really like what I'm seeing so far. But out of Indonesia, Onyx, Shadow Esports, and EVOS, they are struggling at this point of time, Neptune. Granted, Onyx, Shadow, as well as EVOS just made their entry into play today. But still, after 2 games, I would have expected more, at least from EVOS Divine.
Yeah, I mean, EVOS Divine silch on the placement. Not like none of them getting past the 10th spot. And that is something that we don't see often. Most of the time, they use Rasia to get information, similar to what we've seen. If we just like look back to what we've seen in Team Falcons, that's the usual tactic of EVOS Divine. They get information and then prepare for the battle, but it is not happening right now. But let's see if Kalahari can give that opportunity as we are getting into the dry and desert lands of Free Fire. Kalahari, our game number 3.
EVOS Divine should be jumping back into a decent performance. Last year was one hell of a good year for EVOS Divine. They became the champions of the Esports World Cup. FFWS fall, they got the 5th spot. In the global finals though, they could only manage the 9th spot for themselves. So a little bit of a dip in terms of coming off of the championship from EWC. But if you compare where they were in the previous year's global finals, ranked 13th, they still did much better in 2025. And I expect the statistics to get better as the year go on by. 2026, I do expect them to be in the top 5, Neptune. And perhaps this is where they warm up.
Yeah, let's see. This is a good chance for them to warm up, and I'm really looking forward to that movement as well, because that tells a lot of how a team is evolving. On global finals, they are moving up, but after getting the champion, it means that other teams are catching up to them. So let's see that storyline that will be followed. But as we go into EVOS Divine right now against Team Flash, they need to survive this if they can clear over that storyline.
And the flank around, gets aim guard, the spot onto Mink. Mink actually dodges that with the Valiant Dash, but will still get capped. ABCD now catching up with him with the MP40. ABCD flanks around, Zom is down, and the God is here for the follow-up. Rasia, the only player left on the side of EVOS. 600 coins, should be able to pull off a revive here. So the team of EVOS gets to survive, all thanks to their sniper, just like what was happening in the Esports World Cup. I dare say, without Rasia, there's no way EVOS would have become champions at EWC last year.
I do agree. The Wonder Kid who saved them in that fight. But the God in there was using Ray as well. It's not like I'm just saying that it's an underrated skill for the moment, because in situation like that, you get a spot of your opponent, and if you're the rusher, you can just run towards them. Get the information to the rest of the squad, gang up on one specific area, and then if in case there will be a switcheroo that will be done with the opponent, at least you're ready with your backup. And that's what has been done in there by the God, as well as Team Flash in that specific moment. But unfortunately for them, they couldn't eliminate EVOS Divine, so that can be a threat towards later as they go into the rest of the match.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The Bond of Eclipse has definitely been a little bit of a wrecker when it comes to the rank matches. There's not so much of a popular active skill here to be used when it comes to competitive just yet, because of the fact that your opponents will be able to see the Bond of Eclipse as well, be able to react accordingly to your position. PE Sports doing great against Magna, and the Malaysian squad out in 12th.
It's just unfortunate that they're not doing quite well as expected, especially if they have prestige and record as well. But Ranze, first time we saw him, he has been a wrecker, and especially with the motivation that they have from the previous match, they will be wrecking a lot of teams. So Team Falcons right now a little bit too active this time around. ACD as well as Shadow in the same compound. Pina though moves away, but unfortunately doesn't make it. But Keroro was picked up, recovers. Will he be able to get out? Because he's the final player, sole survivor of that Team Falcons team. There goes Shadow from the Shadows, who takes him down, and Falcons will get that curse.
Damn, man, the curse of the Booyah is active here on day 2. Avida XKDC bit the dust after the Booyah, and so does Falcons. You gotta love it. I mean, yeah.
I was not expecting that to happen. It's
Yeah.
more of their usual strategy that they need to work on, but it's just unfortunate as well that they have to deal with two teams. First, it was and it's not just Shadow who was at their area. I just couldn't remember which one it is, but they were just caught off guard, I believe. Thus, they didn't fire back in that area, in that engagement. So let's see if there's something that they can work on the next map. But as we move into Onyx Olympus, they're dealing with a lot of stragglers, but position-wise, they're in a good spot.
AG Global now up against Flash. Electrotherapy.